In 2026, the world entered one of its most tense and dangerous periods in recent history. The conflict began when the United States and Israel launched major airstrikes inside Iran. The immediate reason given for the attack was Iran's rapidly advancing nuclear program and its expanding missile capabilities. US and Israeli officials argued that Iran was getting dangerously close to developing weapons that could threaten Israel directly and shift the balance of power in the Middle East. For years, Israel has viewed a nuclear-capable Iran as an existential threat, while the United States has accused Iran of supporting armed groups across the region. Tensions had been building through sanctions, cyber operations, proxy clashes, and covert strikes. The 2026 airstrikes were presented as a preventive move designed to stop a larger future war. However, for Iran, the strikes were seen as a direct act of aggression and a violation of its sovereignty. Reports claimed that Iran's supreme leader, Ali Khamenei, was killed during the attacks along with several senior military officials. This dramatically escalated the situation. From Tehran's perspective, this was not just about nuclear facilities, it was about national survival and leadership. The political pressure inside Iran to respond forcefully was immediate and intense. Iran retaliated within hours by launching waves of ballistic missiles and drones toward Israeli territory and US military bases across the Middle East. Air defense systems were activated throughout the region. Some projectiles were intercepted mid-air, while others struck military and strategic sites. This marked a serious escalation because previous confrontations between these countries were mostly indirect, fought through proxy groups or limited covert operations. In 2026, the conflict became direct and visible. The confrontation quickly spread beyond those three nations. The United Arab Emirates and other Gulf countries felt the immediate impact due to their proximity and the presence of US military assets. Airspace restrictions were imposed, flights were delayed or canceled, and businesses prepared for potential instability. The Gulf region plays a central role in global trade, energy exports, and finance, so even the threat of missile attacks created ripple effects in global energy markets and concern among governments worldwide. At the same time that the Middle Eastern conflict was escalating, another war broke out in South Asia. Pakistan accused Afghanistan of allowing militant groups to operate near their shared border. The main issue centers around cross-border attacks that Pakistan attributes to armed groups allegedly operating from Afghan territory. For years, Islamabad has claimed that these groups, particularly anti-Pakistan militants, were launching attacks and then retreating across the border. Diplomatic tensions and border skirmishes had been ongoing for a long time. In 2026, after a series of deadly incidents, Pakistan launched airstrikes against suspected militant strongholds inside Afghanistan. Afghan forces responded, and clashes intensified along the border. This South Asian conflict is separate from the Iran-US-Israel confrontation, but its timing adds to global instability. Pakistan is a nuclear-armed nation, which raises international concern whenever it enters open military conflict. Afghanistan, already facing internal political and economic challenges, found itself in renewed warfare. The international community became worried about two significant regional conflicts unfolding at the same time in already sensitive geopolitical zones. Although these wars are not formally connected, they exist within a larger global power structure. The United States maintains military influence across the Middle East. Israel views Iran as its primary long-term security threat. Iran seeks regional influence and deterrence against Western pressure. Gulf nations try to balance security alliances with economic stability. Pakistan aims to secure its borders against militant violence. Afghanistan struggles with internal governance and external pressures. When tensions increase in one region, diplomatic and military consequences can spill into others. The biggest fear now is escalation. If more countries become directly involved, the situation could widen significantly. Naval forces could clash in strategic waterways, missile exchanges could intensify, energy infrastructure could be targeted, global markets could react more sharply. At the same time, there are still diplomatic efforts underway aimed at preventing further escalation. International organizations and major powers are pushing for de-escalation, ceasefires, and negotiations behind closed doors. For people around the world, the impact may be felt through rising fuel prices, economic uncertainty, disrupted travel, and market instability. For civilians in the affected regions, the consequences are far more immediate and personal, involving security risks, displacement, and economic hardship. As of now, military forces remain on high alert and diplomatic channels remain active. Whether 2026 becomes remembered as the year multiple regional wars merged into a larger global crisis, or the year intense confrontation was contained through diplomacy, will depend on decisions made in the months ahead.